The greatest gaming community around, here to give you tips on how to become a better competitor in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. As you know, the PUBG competitive scene is growing rapidly, so we at the Level Zero gaming community have put together a list of tips to help you gain the competitive edge you need to get those chicken dinners. This video is sponsored by Player Auction. They are a global marketplace for gaming products. They are a great place to buy and sell skins so you can deck out your characters to get those chicken dinners in style. Or you can sell extra skins and loot boxes you don't need, so I will be putting their link in the description below so you can go check them out. Today's gameplay will be provided by Level Zero's PUBG player community. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the gameplay while I lay down these PUBG competitive tips for you. Tip number 1 is to land in the right locations. Losing just one teammate is a big disadvantage, especially early on. You will not necessarily be punished by landing in hot locations, but the percentage of getting out with everyone alive is low and you will have to waste a lot of resources to do so. Tip number 2 is to land somewhere safe to ensure you won't need to fight. Early fights can ruin your late game, but if you find yourself getting into a fight early on, before trying to pick up all the loot, try to clear out the area as soon as possible to ensure your enemies do not have time to gear up before you. Catch them off guard while they try to loot and claim your prizes. Tip number 3 is constant and clear communication. Keeping the team on the same page is key, whether it's to know where the enemy is or when it's a good time to pick a fight. Tip number 4 is to use team formations in order to provide 360 coverage for your team. The idea here is to not get too far from your teammates or else you will catch yourself in a 1v1 firefight situation with multiple enemies. However, you don't want to get too close to your teammates or else you will become easy pickings for the opposing team. Tip number 5 is to play the edge of the circle. Playing the middle of the circle is dangerous because there are multiple enemies coming at you from all directions. Playing the edge will always provide coverage because odds are that there are not going to be enemies hanging out inside the blue zone. On the flip side of playing the edge of the circle, you can also play the middle of the circle. To play the middle, get to a center location after the first or second circle and hold that position. While playing the center is more comfortable for people, this leaves your team open to being sandwiched by 2 enemy teams. To play this plan, your team will have to practice which strategy best suits the style of you and your squad. Tip number 6 is to make proper use of the vehicles. Vehicles are a lifeline in the early to mid and even into the late game. They can be used to quickly reposition if there is an unfavorable zone, and they also provide cover. Sure, they are loud, but the correct use of the vehicle can be the difference between getting caught out in rotations or getting that dinner. Tip number 7 is to use throwables. Grenades are good for putting on damage, but also a good way to distract your enemies. The use of smokes is good for the final circle situation and distorting enemy sight, but can also give away your position, so use them wisely. Tip number 8 is to learn equipment stats. This is especially true for breaking values for armor. Odds are you will be in a long drawn out fight where you take pot shots from your enemies. Learning when their equipment will break will give you a huge advantage when the fight comes head to head. Conversely, you will also know when it is about time to end your fight if your squad is taking heavy damage to your equipment and meds. Either end the fight quickly or completely avoid it altogether. A broken level 3 is always better than taking a fresh level 2. While you take less damage to break your gear, you will still take the reduced damage from the bullets. For example, even a level 3 helmet at 1 durability will stop you from being one-shot by a car or an M24 sniper rifle. When it comes to attachments, vertical versus angled, while this is mostly brushed off by people as a preference-based choice, know that there are some differences that give you separate advantages. Angled provides a more dramatic horizontal recoil reduction, which is more favorable in a full auto situation where the time between bullets is fractions of a second. So you need to be able to only worry about the semi-predictable vertical recoil to get the most accurate spray. This means that a consistent and steady pull of your mouse while in a full auto fight will be easier to control and maintain because you will not have to compensate as much for the unpredictable horizontal recoil. Vertical grip, however, reduces your vertical recoil slightly more. This is most favorable in a situation where you have to tap fire at a target downrange at a longer distance. Usually when firing at a person at this range, they're either moving or in an open area. This means that you will need to put your sight back on the person you are trying to kill with more accuracy. The time between shots will be much higher than in full auto, so you will have more time to place the reticle back on your target. Tip number 9 is to focus. Your only point of focus should be your reticle unless you are scanning for enemies. Only paying attention to this will narrow your focus when shooting and dramatically improve your aim. But be careful not to get tunnel vision on your target and get a nice surprise by another enemy. My final and probably most important tip is that if you want to get better, you have to play a lot. People who are really good at a game put in a lot of hours. So the best way to get better is to practice, practice, practice. So there you have it, everyone. That is all the tips we have for how to get better at PUBG competitive gameplay. So that is going to be it for this video. If you did like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the Level 0 Studios YouTube channel. And if you have any other tips that you would like to provide down below in the comments section, feel free to do so. Level 0 is going to be putting out more tricks and tip videos for you guys to help you guys improve your gameplay. That is going to be it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one.